It happened on a Thursday night, the moment she said it. Words so sharp they cut straight through me like shattered glass. Your touch bothers me. Move away. For a few seconds, I just stood there, frozen. My hand hung in the air between us, caught in disbelief. The dim light flickered across her face, but there was no warmth in her eyes anymore. Only weariness, maybe even disgust. 6 years of marriage, and suddenly I felt like a stranger trespassing in my own home. Her name was Lena. She used to melt into my arms every night, back when love felt like comfort, not a chore. But lately, she had grown distant. Her smiles forced, her embraces mechanical. I kept telling myself it was stress, that she just needed time, that this coldness was temporary. I was wrong. Something inside me broke that night. I searched her face, desperate to see even a flicker of hesitation, a sign that she didn't mean it. But she didn't even look up, just kept scrolling on her phone, as if my existence irritated her. "You heard me," she said flatly. "Stop hovering, okay? I need room to breathe." I nodded slowly. Room to breathe. I repeated, "Got it." Then I turned, walked upstairs, packed a small bag, and left. No shouting, no slamming doors. Just silence. Complete disappearance. For 2 days, I stayed in a cheap motel outside the city. No calls, no texts, nothing. I thought maybe she'd notice, maybe reach out, but my phone stayed quiet. I spent those nights staring at the ceiling, wondering how love could die so quietly. Then, on the third night, something changed. Around midnight, my phone buzzed, once, twice, then over and over. 10 missed calls, all from Lena. My heart twisted between anger and hope. Then came the messages. "Where are you? Why aren't you answering? Please just pick up." By morning, there were over 50 missed calls. That's when I realized the silence she once wanted was finally suffocating her. But by then, it was too late. The ache inside me had dulled. Her desperation didn't heal the wound. It only reminded me how deeply it cut when she told me to move away. When you finally walk away from someone who takes your presence for granted, their panic always comes too late. When I returned home a few days later, everything felt off. Too clean, too still, as if she tried to erase me completely. My mug was gone from the counter. My jacket no longer hung by the door, and even the faint scent of my cologne had disappeared. Lena sat on the couch, eyes red and swollen. When she saw me, she froze, then quickly stood up. "You didn't even tell me you were leaving," she said, her voice trembling. "Do you know what you put me through?" I looked at her for a long moment. "You told me my touch bothered you," I said evenly, "so I thought my absence might help you breathe easier." Her lips trembled. She wanted to argue, but no words came. She sank back onto the couch, covering her face with her hands. "I didn't mean it like that," she whispered. "I was tired, angry. I just needed space." "You didn't ask for space, Lena," I replied quietly. "You pushed me out." Silence filled the room, the same silence that had haunted our home before I left. Only now it carried guilt instead of emptiness. Over the next few days, she tried to make things right. She cooked my favorite meals, forced laughter at jokes that weren't funny, sent long texts during the day like she used to. But something in me had changed. The part that once craved her affection was gone. I wasn't angry anymore, just hollow. One night, she reached out to hug me. I didn't move. Her arms froze midair before falling to her sides. "You're really not coming back to me, are you?" she whispered. I looked at her, the woman who once meant everything, and said quietly, "You taught me how to leave, Lena. You just didn't think I'd learn so quickly." Tears welled in her eyes, but I didn't stay to watch them fall. I walked out again, no bag this time, no hesitation. Because when someone tells you your presence is a burden, disappearing becomes the kindest thing you can do. That night, as my phone lit up again with her name flashing across the screen, I simply turned it off. She finally had her space, and I finally had my peace. Weeks passed before I heard from her again. By then, I had moved into a small apartment downtown. My days became simple: black coffee, morning runs, quiet evenings. The silence that once hurt now felt like clarity. For the first time in years, I could breathe freely, without anyone's permission. Then one evening, I came home and found her waiting at my door. Her hair was messy, her eyes empty, and she clutched a small paper bag in her hands. "I didn't know where else to go," she said softly. I didn't move closer. "Why are you here, Lena?" She looked up, her expression heavy with regret, the kind that comes too late. "Because I messed up," she said, her voice trembling. "You were the only one who ever really cared for me, and I pushed you away. I thought freedom would make me happy, but it just made me feel hollow." Her words should have stirred something in me. But they didn't. I wasn't angry or cruel, just detached, as if her apology had come from another lifetime. "I'm not angry," I said quietly, "but I can't go back. You taught me what it feels like to be unwanted, and I can't unlearn that every time I see you." She nodded slowly, tears slipping down her face. "I deserve that," she whispered. "I just hope we could start over." I sighed and opened the door slightly, not to let her in, but to hand her back the bag she dropped. Inside were fragments of our past, a wedding photo, my old watch, a note she once wrote on our anniversary. "Keep them," I said. "They belong to who we were, not who we are." She didn't argue, just stared at me one last time, as if memorizing my face before turning away. Her footsteps faded down the hallway until there was only silence. Later that night, as I sat by the window watching the city lights, my phone buzzed one last time. A message from her. "I hope you find someone who never flinches at your touch." I smiled faintly and turned off the screen, because the truth was, I already had myself. Sometimes disappearing isn't about revenge or teaching someone a lesson. It's about realizing that peace isn't something another person gives you. It begins the moment you stop chasing those who never learn how to love you right.